Okay, so we are now recorded. So you might want to mute your microphones for now, and then if you want to talk or you have something to say, then unmute right before you say. That way everybody's not hearing all the background noise.
Okay.
As you mute it up on the very left of the little toolbar. So thank you everyone for attending the first of our G Suite webinars. And so G Suite stands for Google Suite, and it's formerly GAF, or Google Apps for Education. It's all the same, they just changed the name recently. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Heather Kowalski, and I work as a half-time technology integration consultant and Google certified trainer for REMC 3. Which covers AMA, CORE, and COP. And the other half of my time is spent as a math consultant for COP. And I'm very excited because we actually have participants from all three areas joining us today, so from all three ESPs, so that's very exciting. Our topic for today is going to be Gmail and Google Calendar. And we don't have a lot of time, just about a half hour, so it's going to be an overview of a lot of things. But I encourage you to please chime in, ask questions, share experiences, or there's also the chat feature in Join Me, which is the conversation bubble in your toolbar. You can type a question in there at any time. And please feel free, if someone types a question and you know the answer, then go ahead and respond, and I'll try to respond as well. And so some of you might just be watching the screen. That is great. And if you want to have your own application up and try and follow along, you can do that as well. So either way, and don't be afraid to interrupt at any time using your microphone if you need to as well. So I'm sure that everyone is probably at a different level of knowledge about Gmail and Calendar. So there's probably going to be some things that I go over that you already know, and probably some that you don't. I'm hopeful that you're going to learn some features that you might not have been aware of before. And also, if you have a favorite tip, trick, or feature, please share it with the rest of us, because I feel like I'm always learning new things about each of the applications, and I love to hear what other people have to say. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Gmail. And so you can see I am in a Gmail account. This is one I just made specifically for this, for REMC 3. And when you are signed into Gmail or Chrome, you're going to see up in the upper right-hand corner what we call the waffle. If you hear me refer to the waffle today, it's this little 3 grid. We call it the waffle because obviously it looks like a waffle. And so that is your doorway to all of the other applications within Google. And we click on your Drive, your Classroom, and if you go to Earth, you'll find photos, Hangout, a bunch of different ones, and some of those may be future webinars.
Heather, you're kind of putting in and out on my end. I don't know if anybody else is getting that.
Do I need to be, can you hear me? Do I need to be louder? I know someone doesn't have their microphone muted because I'm hearing myself echo.
Yeah, you're cutting out on Taylor's.
I'm finding lots of feedback and lots of noise.
Okay, let me see if I can mute everybody here really. Okay, that should be better. Can you hear me now? I muted everyone, so if you want to talk, you probably have to unmute your microphone. And I'm wondering if you can hear me better now. That's a little better? Okay. All right. So the applications might be how often you use them. So they'll switch. The most frequently used will go towards the top. Okay. So we're going to start with looking at the gear. And so the gear in Gmail, in all Google applications, is the settings. And we're going to look at first configuring your inbox. This is a way of organizing so that you don't have all of the junk emails within, and so you can enable some of these tabs. So social, if you enable social tab, you'll put messages from like Facebook, social networks will all go into that tab. Promotions would be coupons, Google offers, like Kohl's, that kind of thing would go into promotions. There's updates, would be your confirmations, shipments, and then forums would be from any mailing list or online communities. So if you leave that, now, you save it? Across the top, now we have different tabs, and it automatically took some of the ones that I had and have some updates. So if you then those are going to be your messages that are really directly to you. So the rest you can kind of just check periodically and keep your inbox a little bit cleaner. So as we are talking about organizing your emails, and someone actually asked this before the webinar began, is how to create folders. So Gmail calls their folders labels. And so to create labels, if you go over here to the left and click on More, you're going to see that it says Create New Label. So you can give it a name. So I might want a label for parents' email, like any emails that I get from parents. And you can actually create labels that nest under one another. So then if you wanted to create a folder for like Marsha and Bob and Jill, and they all email you a lot and you want them to have their own folder, then you could do that as well and nest that under the parent email. So then you'll create. And then now over here on the left, I have parents' email. And so if I want to move something to that folder, I would just click and get more options at the top. So I would click this folder. I would say move to parent email. And now you can see that one email. Does anyone have a question about how to do that? I know I went through it a little bit fast. I'm hoping you can hear me better now. Also, when you are creating labels, if you want to, you can create filters. And I can filter messages. So if I'm getting email, if I want a folder for my principal, I can click on an email from him, filter messages like these. So I would say, okay, these messages I want to create, and I want it to go into, I'm going to make a new label, principal folder. So that person go to the table. So that's how you use folders. So keep in mind that even if you have labels, your inbox in the same way that you do Google search. So instead of, if you're looking for a specific email and you're not sure which folder you put it in, instead of searching through each of your folders or each of your labels, and let me check the chat. The folder info, okay, so if you, Heather, if you're in a folder, or if you create a folder, you can also create a filter so that your emails automatically go into that folder. So if there's emails from your principal and you always want them to go into that folder, then you can filter those to do that. No, if you use the filter, they will automatically go there, Erin. Yeah. Okay. And if you have searching through all your folders for an email that you're looking for, you have the Omni bar right here. This is your search bar, and it will search through all your labels as well as your inbox. So it doesn't matter if it's in a folder, if you're searching it, it'll come up using that box. Also, you can search, there's different search functions. So if you're looking for an email that has an attachment, you can type in attach like this. And I have an attachment. Obviously, I don't have any that do. But there are, in the help files, a list of useful searches, and I will email that out to everyone so that you have that, because there's some little shortcuts there for doing that. And I would suggest using the search bar because they say it takes 3.4 times longer to look through your labels than to just use the search function. So searching is going to save you some time. Also, while we're talking about organizing, the difference between archiving, when you click on an email, you'll see that this says archive, or you have the trash can, which is delete. So the difference between those two is that if you delete a message, it goes to your trash, and when your trash gets taken out, you no longer have the message. However, if you archive the message, it's almost like it's gone, it's out of your inbox, but it's still there. So if you have an email and you don't want it in your inbox and you're like, well, I might need it, if you archive it, it goes away, but if you ever need it, all you do is go to the more, so I'm going to archive this so you can see. So I'm going to archive. So then if you go to more, all mail will come up. So everything from all of your folders, you can see this was in the parents' email, and then as well as your archive messages. So you go to all mail to get those back. Any questions so far? I hope you can hear me okay. Will it go? It will go there before you read it. It will go there before you read it. But it will say, like you can see the number, it will have that number there for you. Okay. So next we're going to look at the gear and your settings. And share. So my favorite is no, Heather, it won't unless you have all mail up, then it will. My favorite is this enable undo send. So if it's by default it is not checked, but if you enable it, it gives you up to 30 seconds to retract your message after you've sent it. So you make an email, you hit send, and then you're like, oh no, I forgot to put the date, or I sent it to the wrong person, or oh, I spelled the word wrong. You can actually, for 30 seconds, you have the opportunity to take it back. So you can hit undo, and it's like it never went out. And so when you do that, I'll show you as soon as we're out of the settings what that looks like, how you would undo it. But it's an awesome feature, and I recommend giving yourself the most amount of time that they allow, which is 30 minutes. If you turn those on, then when you are in your email, you can use some shortcuts, and I'll actually send out to the help file has a list of keywords, and I'll send a link out to that. But if you enable those, then when you're in an email and you just press R, it will automatically bring up the reply window. If you press A, automatically reply to all. If you press the letter F, it'll automatically pull up the forward window. And then if you are just in your inbox and you press C, it will automatically pull up a window to compose a new email. Also, when you're composing an email, some shortcuts, if you use Control K, it'll automatically allow you to insert a link. Control B will bold, Control I italicize, and Control U will underline. So there's some really cool shortcuts, and I will send that list out to you. You can so that everyone sees your picture. So add a signature. So if you add a signature, this will appear at the bottom of all of your emails. And so you never have to sign your emails. And so that is, like I have mine with my name and where I'm at. And then all the automatic replies, this is where you would have that one. Okay, so now I want to show you what I mean by undo send. So I'm going to put, yes, it puts your signature on a reply as well. So I'm going to compose, I'm just going to send it to myself. Okay, so when I hit send, wait, let me move this out of this maybe. Now just undo. I have 30 seconds to press undo and it comes back. So that's how undo send works. It's pretty slick. Questions about that? The next thing I want to show you is up here at the upper left-hand corner, it says Mail, and there's a drop-down. So in this drop-down, we see some different options. So the first one I'm going to go to is Contacts, and I'm going to show you to create a group. And so you can create a group by either emails that are already in your contacts. You can copy emails, like if you had a group message that went out, you can just copy them from the to part of the email and paste them in. Or like I sent out to you the Google form for you to sign up for the webinar, so I collected your emails. So that's where I'm going to copy them from. New group, Google webinars. Okay. Refresh. And what is trying to create it. Let me try that again. Oh, already exists. That's fine. Okay. Sorry, Heather. I'm trying not to. Trying to find my group one and come up. Oh, okay. So my Google group. And then I am going to paste. And I'm going to add. And so then to mail. I type in Google group. it will get to everyone. And so I no longer have to type in everybody's addresses. I have my group created. And people can be in multiple groups, so just because they're in one group doesn't mean they can't be in another. So like if it's just the elementary staff, then you could create just an elementary group and do the same thing. So then if you wanted to, so take that, add people, and I'm not going to copy paste from somewhere, I can just choose people that I already have in my contacts. So I'm just going to pick people. Okay. And maybe I can pick a few more, but I'll just say, okay, now I do with just those 2 people in it. Okay. And so then if I wanted to email them all the time, I could type in Google Webinar and it would go to them instead of looking for their email addresses. So that is how you create a group. And the last part of this is the tasks. So in the tasks, it puts up a little list. And so if you are the type of person who likes to check things off, so you might say, okay, I need to call parents and I need to do that. I'm going to give it a due date. I need to do it tomorrow. And then I need to pick up kids today. So I'm going to give that a due date. And I'm going to do that today. And then when I do something, I can check it off. So I already have that done. If I don't do it, I can move it to a different day. So I'm going to move over to Calendar and show you that this actually connects and will put these events on your Google Calendar as well. So before we move on to Calendar, are there any other Gmail questions? Any questions before moving on to Calendar? Again, you're going to click the waffle. You can also, if you want to see a year-long calendar, you can also, in your settings, under Lab, you can add there. I'll put it here. And so if I go to, I click leave. Sorry, Debbie. I'm not sure why it's cutting out. I have perfect internet, but maybe it's this program. Okay, so then what comes up is your default calendar. And so that would be the one that is given, has your name. So what, your part of your email or your name would be your default calendar. This would be the calendar that your coworkers could search, and then it would be shared with them. You can also create additional calendars. So under My Calendars, you could create a new calendar. So if you wanted to have a personal calendar, a work calendar, or if you wanted a different calendar for each class, or if you wanted to create a computer lab sign-up calendar and share it with your staff members, everyone would have the ability to see the calendar and sign up on that calendar without leaving their classroom. So there's a lot of options for creating and sharing, and I'll talk about those again in a little bit. But I first want to show you the basics of how to add an event to your calendar. There are multiple ways to do this. An easy way is to just hit this create button. And if you double click it, which is what I did, you can add an event. So I might have a meeting. You can choose your time. And you can add a location if you want to. You can add a description. You can also add an attachment. So if you want to attach a meeting agenda, you can go ahead and attach that there. You can mark it private, and then that way if your calendar is shared, people will only see it as busy instead of what the event actually is. Here you can send yourself an email notification. You know, if you want the day before to get an email notification, you can add that here. You can also invite people to your event. So by putting in their email, you can invite them to the event, and then you can send them an invitation. Once I save this, it'll ask if I want to send an invitation. You can also, you automatically, with each event that you create, you this video call, which is Google Hangouts. If you click on that, that's how you're going to get to a Hangout with someone. You're going to see me in a second here. So this is how you would do a Hangout. Heather. And so your events would come up, yes, on your phone. By adding the calendar. Yes, and yes, I will. Well, you got, or you kept getting for this webinar is the invitations. You would get an invitation and you could accept, or if you couldn't make it, you could not accept. Okay, so remember I told you that the tasks would appear here. So under My Calendars, if you take this reminders calendar, you have the option of switching it to tasks. And if you switch it to tasks, now my list from my email comes up and it actually puts the events on the day they're due. So if I forgot to pick up my kids and I wanted to say, oh, well, I'll pick up tomorrow, I can move the event to the next day. Once I do it, I can check it off. So that's kind of a neat feature. And then those are not, if your calendar is shared, other people cannot see that stuff. Those tasks are just for you. So they won't see that on your shared calendar. You can pull up multiple calendars at a time. So like we, at COP, we share our room calendars so that we know when our rooms are checked out. And if I want to look at the Michigan room and I want to look at the Sheboygan room, I can see when those are checked out and they come up in different colors. So you can have multiple calendars open at one time, which is a really nice feature. You can also search for coworkers' calendars. So if I'm looking for Kim's calendar, I click it. Okay, so that's a really nice feature. You can also, under other calendars, if you browse interesting calendars, like a Broadway fan, go to hockey, and want to preview what their calendar looks like. When I subscribe to this, I will get a hockey puck every day they play. And then if I go to click on the hockey puck, it tells me, oh, they play at what time, where they play, who they play. And so you can have that. If you subscribe, you'd have that. Okay. You can holidays as well. Kind of a cool feature. Okay. Also, we have a future webinar on Google Classroom, but Google Classroom automatically puts a calendar under My Calendars for each class that you set up as well. So then you could pull up those calendars here also. Okay. If you want to add an event, I already showed you, you can hit the create. You can also just click on the day. So say on the 30th, I am going to, and you can see you can either do event or task, but I'm going to do an event. So you can just click on it here to add. So I my 7 p.m. Dinner and create. And then there's my event. If I want to add details, then I would edit the event details. Okay. We are starting to run out of time here. Actually, we are out of time. But if you have additional questions, please feel free to email me. I will send out those links to you. I apologize if I was cutting out a little bit. I'm not sure why. It's going to be something I'm going to have to look into. I might have to actually get a microphone. That might be better instead of just using my computer microphone for next time. But otherwise, we will see you, well, I will meet you for Google Docs productivity on November 20th, I believe is the date. And I'll send you out a reminder for that as well. I would like to add or say or share with the rest of us before we leave.
Will you be sending out the
Like I
email
tell
with
you
the
all the
YouTube
time.
link?
I know, you're such
Thoughts,
a
comments?
I knew yeah, I just tried some until it worked. I don't know how to do it either. I knew Kaylee was coming too. Hopefully we got stuck. She could have. Yeah.
Otherwise, thank you for joining, and I know your time is precious, so I didn't want to keep you over the half-hour limit. So thank you for joining, and we will talk to you again soon.